योऽन्तः प्रविश्योमवाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। किं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाभक्तिविनीतयः दीप्तिश्चापि वृता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Adi Shankaracharya, as all of us know, was an extraordinary philosopher whose heights cannot be reached by anybody. This Adi Shankaracharya has also blessed the humanity with a variety of stotras. In fact, though he wanted to establish Advaita Vedanta, one of the Namavali describes him as Shanmata Sthapanacharya Namaha. There is another Namavali which also says Saundarya Lahari Mukhya Bahustotra Vidhayakaya Namaha. So Saundarya Lahari Mukhya Bahustotra Vidhayakaya Namaha. The one who has composed several stotras like Saundarya Lahari. So Ganesha-bhujanga is one of the stotras. So there is a collection of stotras in one volume which has been written by Śaṅkara-bhagavatpāda, and the stotras amount to almost 60-65, close to that number, on a variety of devatas. That's why I said Shanmata Sthapanacharya. It can be on Devi, it can be on Shiva, it can be on Ganapati, it can be on Subramania, it can be on Vishnu, and so on. Now, this Ganesha-bhujangam is not as popular as Ganesha Pancharatnam. Mudakarattamodakam, this many people know, and we had memorized it in our young age. But Ganesha-bhujangam is not that popular. So today we will commence with this Ganesha. There are only of these stotras which has been composed by Bhagavatpada, only two are in Ganesha. One is Ganesha Pancharatnam, the other is Ganesha-bhujanga. The Shankaracharya is praised. Ganesha's other nama is Vinayaka, right? So there is an interesting verse which is in place of Śaṅkara-bhagavatpada. I thought I will commence with our venerations to Śaṅkara-bhagavatpada with this. This has been written by one of the disciples of Bhagavatpada. I think it is in Panchapadika Vivaranam. I will tell that verse, you can repeat. So with our pranams too, there it is describing Bhagavatpada as Apurva Shankara. Okay. So with that verse, we will commence our lecture. Namamya bhogi. Repeat.
Namamya bhogi.
Parivara sampadam.
Parivara sampadam.
Nirasta bhutim.
Nirasta bhutim.
Repeat. Nirasta bhutim. Anumartha vigraham.
Anumartha vigraham.
Anumartha vigraham. Anugramunmridita. 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 Kalalanchanam.
Kalalanchanam.
Kalalanchanam. Vinayakam.
Vinayakam. Vinayakam.
Apurva Shankaram.
Apurva Shankaram.
Apurva Shankaram. He is Apurva in this sense. The people, if they are deeply into Advaita Vedanta philosophy, etc., so they may not care for other forms of worship, right? There are some people like that we have seen. Okay. So now here Bhagavatpada is someone who starts with Vinayaka Pancharatnam and then goes. So he is an Apurva Śaṅkara. Śaṅkara is one who blesses the humanity with all that is good for them. Śaṅkara is a word that is used to refer to Shiva, right? So here he uses the epithet Apurva Śaṅkara. So he is some special Śaṅkara. And in the fourth quarter you see Vinayakam. So there this verse has a lot of beauty. So it starts as Namam Yabhogi Parivara Sampadam. The word Bhogi has two meanings. Of course, one can give multiple meanings in Sanskrit. Bhogi refers to someone who is engaging himself in sensual pleasures. Bhogi. Okay. Now, the word Bhogi is also used to denote serpent. Now, Bhogi Parivara Sampadam is Parameshwara because serpent is there. Understand? Bhogi Parivara Sampadam. Sampada is one whose wealth is this. Now, our Śaṅkara, this Adi Śaṅkara, is Abhogi Parivara Sampadam. This Abhogi here means those who are not engaging themselves in acts which will give them sensual pleasures. They are Abhogis. Bhoginaha, Abhoginaha. So Abhoginaha eva Parivara. Okay? For him, only sannyasis are those who have left everything. That is his Parivara. So the one who has sannyasis as Parivara, that Śaṅkara, Namami Abhogi Parivara Sampadam. That Śaṅkara who is there in Kailasa is Bhogi Parivara Sampad. Okay? The one who has Bhogi Parivara as his Sampad. Our Śaṅkara, okay, is Abhogi Parivara Sampad. Okay? So Namami Abhogi Parivara Sampadam. So each of these epithet has been employed by him in such a way that he tries to bring in this Śaṅkara as Apurva. Okay? That well-known Śaṅkara is Bhogi Parivara Sampadam. Here is Abhogi Parivara Sampadam. Then Nirastha Bhutim. This Nirastha Bhutim can be used as an epithet to describe both. So how does it fit in? So Nirastha Bhutihi, right? So Bhuti means Aishwarya. So Nirastha Bhutihi. So there is a nice verse, no? In the Shivananda Hari we have this verse. Ashanam Garalam Phani Kalapaha Vasanam Charmacha Vahanam Mahokshaha. So look at Parameshwara. Ashanam Garalam. Okay. So what he eats is Visham. Garalam means Visham. Ashanam Garalam. Then Phani Kalapaha. Phani means serpent. Okay. So Phanaha asya asti iti Phani. That is his ornament. Okay. Ashanam Garalam Phani Kalapaha. Then Vasanam Charma. No silk garment. Okay. So Charma means skin. The skin is his garment. Vahanam Mahokshaha. Mahokshaha is, so he travels on bull. This is all his sampat. Therefore he is asking, no? Nam charmaja vahanam mahokshaha mama dasyasi kim kim asti shambho Tava padam bhuja bhakti meva dehi. He says, what is there for you to give me? I have BMW car, I have a big bungalow, I have this, that, etc. You don't have anything to give me. So the one thing which I do not have is bhakti towards you. May you bless me with this bhakti. So this is a beautiful way of presenting one's own state, so that I do not have devotion. Anyway, so here nirasta bhutim, so he does not have any bhuti. Then we have that Parameshwara is Umardha Vigraha. Understand? Umardha Vigraha means Uma Ardha Vigrahe Yasya. See, he has given half the body to Uma. Okay. Here Anumardha Vigraham. So is one meaning that you can assign for this. Anumardha Vigraham is, see, the one who does not have Uma as Ardhanga. Right? Like Abhogi. The other meaning is those who do not have, that is how we said, no? Abhogi Parivara Sampadam is simply negating one. The other is here, Anuma actually stands for Anumanam. Okay? Anumardha Vigraham means, so the one who gave this beautiful Bhashya. So this Bhashya is flooded with a lot of inferences, Anumana, okay, to convince something, the argument. So that itself is Ardha Vigraha. So half is Shruti, half is Anumana, to convince. So that is the beauty he is trying to bring out, the distinction between that Śaṅkara and this Śaṅkara. Namamya bhogi parivara sampadam nirasta bhuti manumardha vigraham anugram unmridita kala lanchanam. Anugram is a epithet. So there Parameshwara sometimes can be conceived as Ugra, because Kala Samhara, Murti and so on. Okay. So here he is Anugra, Shanta Swarupa. Okay. Unmurdita Kala Lanchanam is a epithet. Unmurdita Kala Lanchanam can be understood in two ways. So Kala is used to refer to Yama. Okay, Kalaha, Yama. Kalaha can also refer to time. So Kala Lanchanam means, so there is a stotra which describes that this Markandeya comes and then takes refuge in Parameshwara. Then this Yama comes to grab him. Then Parameshwara stamps this Yama. So this Kalaha Lanchanam, Kidrisho Kalaha, Unmriditaha Kalaha. Okay. So this Yama who has been suppressed by Parameshwara, Unmridita Kala Lanchanam. Lanchanam means Chinna. So one who can be identified as a person with the mark of having suppressed Yama. Okay, that is Parameshwara. So here, Unmardita Kala Lanchanam. Okay, this Kala is time. So once we have this Bhagavatpada Swarupa and as conceive him as so Jnana Swarupa, then Kala Lanchanam, he has transcended time. Unmurdita Kala Lanchanam. So that Apurva Śaṅkara, Vina Vinayakam means that Parameshwara has Vinayaka in his lap. So this Adi Śaṅkara does not have Vinayaka. Okay? So Vina Vinayakam Apurva Śaṅkaram is a beautiful description of Parameshwara. I wanted to just sell Parameshwara in one sense, and this epithets are coined in such a way that you try to, of course, it is the Shambhor Murti Charati Bhuvane Śaṅkaracharya Rupa. That is what we say. It is the same Parameshwara in the form of Śaṅkara who has blessed this, and he is an Apurva Śaṅkara. Okay, with this we move on to this Bhujanga Stotra. Before starting this first verse, I would like to give you why this is called Bhujanga Stotra. Okay? This Bhujanga normally means serpent. Bhujaga, Bhujanga, Bhujangama. All three forms will be used. Vihaga, Vihanga, Vihangama, like that. Now this Bhujanga is serpent, but the stotra has been given the name Ganesha-bhujanga. So this has nothing to do with serpent as such, but it has to do with a metrical form which is given that name. Bhujanga is, sometimes it is called Bhujanga Prayata, sometimes it is simply called as Bhujanga. This Bhujanga has 12 syllables per quarter. Bhujanga Stotra will have 12 syllables per quarter. So like this Anushtup Shloka, if some of you know, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu. If you just count Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, there will be 8 syllables per quarter. All of them fall under a group called Anushtup. This Bhujanga has 12 syllables. And the definition of this Bhujanga is, so all these metrical forms will be described through what are known as ganas. Yagana, Magana, Tagana, Bhagana, and so on. There are 8 ganas. And the short form is Yamatara Jabhana Salagam. This Bhujanga is composed of 12 syllables with Yagana repeating 4 times. Understand? Yagana is Laghu Guru Guru. Yamata. Laghu Guru Guru is Yagana. The Yagana will repeat 4 times in this. So Laghu Guru Guru. Okay? So if you just take the first verse in this to just demonstrate to you. Suranat Shudra Ghanta Ninada Bhiramam. If you just take Ranat Shudra Ghanta Ninada Bhiramam, you can see 12 syllables. Now Ra Nat Shud, see Laghu Guru Guru. Okay. Ra Nat Shud Ra Ghanta, you can see Laghu Guru Guru, Laghu Guru Guru, Laghu Guru Guru, Laghu Guru Guru. This is how it will go. Okay. Now I was thinking why this kind of a metrical pattern could have been named Bhujanga. Sometimes one can get some idea about that. So I was just wondering whether this could have something to do with the motion of the Bhujanga itself. I have seen, some of you would have seen also. So here in IIT some serpents also go in. So when you watch their motion, so you see that they will try to compress their body. Okay, so the whole thing will shrink and then they will expand, right? So they will go some place and then the tail part will come and then they will give a push and then push, right? So this suction of the tail part will happen very fast, push, and then the forward movement will be generally in 2 steps. So that whole thing will be in a shot and then move forward, move forward. So that way, Laghu Guru Guru, Laghu Guru Guru, Laghu Guru Guru. Okay, the kind of a motion of serpent could be the reason for naming this as Bhujanga. Okay, based on the Gana pattern. There is another thing that I was thinking. This Bhujanga has another property of leaving out the poison. We had that verse, no? What is that? Akranta Purvam. Akranta Purvam iva Mukta Visham Bhujangam. See, this is Kalidasa's description. See, Akranta Purvam iva Mukta Visham Bhujangam, he says. Akranta Purva means something which has been held strongly. This is a very beautiful description that is occurring in Raghuvamsha. So there he is basically depicting the situation of Dasharatha receiving the shapa of Shravana's father, right? That is the description. So there he just gives the shapa. See, may you also die because of putra shoka like me. So he says, Dishtantamapsyati bhavanapi putra shokat ante vayasyahami tamuktavantam. Dishtantam means marana. Dishtantamapsyati bhavanapi putra shokat. I am saying this because there the description given by Kalidasa can be taken by us to understand another meaning for this bhujanga. So there he says, this person grieved by putra shoka, putra viyoga, grieved by putra viyoga, like a serpent getting angry, okay, emanating poison, he just left the shapa, right? So there the shapa, so he is like leaving this. You understand? So he says you will also die. Okay? Why? This putra shokena akrantaha. Akranta purvamiva. So now the example that is given by Kalidasa is mukta visham bhujangam. Okay? So if you just keep this bhujanga held by the throat, it will leave poison. So this bhujanga, if we keep in our throat, okay, all this bhujanga stotras, see, will make us leave all the visha. Okay. See, the Vishaya rasa is visha. See, Vishaya rasa is visha. We have a beautiful statement, right? Amoolamanta shamyaha Vishaya vishasvada mohaha. Some of you are there who would have heard of this great poet called Banabhatta. See, this Vishaya itself is Visha. Beautifully, it's a metaphor he uses. See, this Visha will actually go. Okay, with mantra, tappa, you do various things, this may go. But this Vishaya Visha does not leave us. In fact, there is another verse, no? This Visha will finish the person. Okay? So Visha will that. And this Vishaya once only. The Vishaya finishes him again and again. Okay? So this is a Vishaya is something which is very interesting. Okay? Now he says Amoola mantra shamyaha Vishaya vishasvada moha. See, the moha, the delusion that is generated by the experiences of Vishaya does not go with Moola Mantra also. Okay? That Visha will go, whereas this Visha doesn't go. Anyway, so that is the idea. Why I am saying is, once you have this bhujanga in your throat, okay, so this Vishaya Vishasvada, so that will be left out. Okay, so that could be the another meaning that one can think of. This Bhujanga Stotra, they are amazingly written. So we will get on to the first verse. So I will say, you will repeat. Okay, Ranakshudra Ghanta Ninadabhiramam Chalattandavodandavatpadmatalam 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 Lasatundilangopari Lasatundilangopari Parivyalaharam Vyalaharam Ganadhishamishanasunum Tamide Ganadhishamishanasunum Tamide Ganadhishamishanasunum Tamide Ranat Kshudra Ghanta Ninadabhiramam. See here, there are three descriptions in the first three quarters of the verse. And the fourth quarter is common to all the verses. There are basically 9 verses in this Ganesha-bhujanga stotra. It is one of the short stotras. So Ganesha Navakam, Ganesha-bhujangam. Okay? Like Krishna Ashtakam, one can say it is a Navakam, basically 9 verses. So Ranat Kshudra Ghanta Ninadabhiramam. So this is the first description. The second description is Chalatandavoddanda Vatpadmatalam Lasattundilango Parivyalaharam. This is the third description. And finally he says Ganadhisham Ishana Sunum, the son of Parameshwara, Tam Ide. So this is how it just goes. Okay. So Ide means Aham Prarthaye. Okay. So that is how we just think of. So here the first description, in most, the entire stotra happens to be primarily, there are some stotras which have been written by Bhagavatpada wherein you will find a lot of philosophy also integrated. So this stotra, there are a lot of prarthanas may be there, kripana krandanam may be there, but this stotra primarily seems to be describing the physical traits of Ganapati. Ranat, see there are long compounds here. So Ranat Kshudra Ghantarinadabhiramam is one single word. So Ghanta, all of us know, is bell. Okay? That produces sound. This is qualified with the word Kshudra. Do you remember the word Kshudra occurring somewhere? Famous. There, no? In Bhagavad Gita we have Kshudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyakto Tishthaparantapa. Right at the beginning, he uses this word. There, Kshudram is an adjective to Hridaya Daurbalyam. Okay? The faint-heartedness that you are displaying, Arjuna, is Kshudra. Kshudra means something lowly, which doesn't befit you. Right? That is the sense in which Kshudra is used. Many a times we use the word Kshudra Jantu, means someone who is very mean, someone who is insignificant. There also we use the word Kshudra, Kshudra Jantu, Kshudra Pashu. Okay? So which is insignificant, which is unworthy, then also we use the word Kshudra. So here Kshudra is used in the sense of small, tiny. It's not mean or lowly, but some tiny bell. Okay, Kshudra Ghanta. In fact, instead of having big bell noise, this tiny bells if you have, the noise will be much more pleasing. Okay, so Kshudra Ghantayaha Ninadaha. Ninadaha means Shabdaha. Okay, Kshudra Ghanta Ninadaha Tena Abhiramate. Abhiramaha. Okay, the one who is pleased with the ringing of small bells. Okay, this is the word. So Ranat Kshudra Ghanda. Ranat means so that which is making sound. Okay, Ranat Kshudra Ghanta Ninada Bhiramam. Okay, that Ranat, see, Ninada is sound. Tena. So this is some very pleasing sound. Okay, so that is what is Rananam. Okay, that is basically that which keeps on resonating. Understand? So it doesn't stop immediately. So that is what is meant by Ranat. Ranat Kshudra Ghanta Ninada Bhiramam is the first description. Then we have Chalatandavoddanda see, most of the readings I find is Vat Padma Talam. Uddandavat Padma Talam. So I thought about very deeply, but this Vat is generally in Sanskrit is used in two senses. Okay? That which possesses. So Matubharthe Vat will be there. So Ramavatu Acharati, suppose I say, so then it is not Matvartha, it is like him. But Uddandavat doesn't really fit in. Okay, Uddanda Pat Padmatalam. So you can just change it. Okay, so after a deep thought, and even I consulted a couple of senior scholars also. So this is very difficult to fit in this Vat. So, and it could be a error that might have crept even. Okay. So when in the either in Grantha, okay, or even in Devanagari, that Va and Pa are very somewhat similar. Okay, there are many such possibilities. So we have Pat Padma Talam. Let us take. So he says Chalatandavodanda Pat Padma Talam. Okay. So Uddanda Pat Padma. So Pat Padma should be understood as Pada Padma. Okay. So Padeva Padmam Pat Padmam. Okay. Now this Uddanda is something in some of the places. There is a Ganapati also called Uddanda Ganapati. See, Uddanda is generally used to refer to someone who tries to supervise, master, okay, that kind of a thing. One who can sort of punish, angry. So in many contexts you will use the word Uddanda. Okay. So Uddanda Patu, when you say, see, Uddanda basically Udgato Danda Iva. Danda is basically holding. Holding danda in hand. That kind of a thing is the description that one obtains by Uddanda. This Uddanda Pat, when you say, leg is sort of lifted. Okay. Uddanda Pat Padma, you take. So Uddanda will happen during the dance. Okay. Tandava we have. Okay. So Tandavena, or during the process of Tandava, Uddandapatu Padma. Okay. And Uddandapatu will not be Uddandapat all the time, it will just go up, down, etc. Right? Therefore, Chalatu. Understand? So, Chalatu. So, the one which is moving up and down, okay, in the process of dance with a certain rhythm. Okay? That rhythm is what is meant by Thalam. Understand? So there is a certain interesting tala that you find, a rhythm that you find in the motion of the legs up and down. Okay. So this is the description that he gives. So Chalatandavodanda Padmatalam. Okay. So this phrase, it took a lot of time for me to digest. So it was a little difficult to clearly figure out. So what exactly is being conveyed. Chalatanandavodanda Padmatalam. Then the third description that we find is Lasattundilango Parivyalaharam. Lasattundilango Parivyalaharam. Tundila. What is Tundila? So in fact in Tamil there is a phrase Tundi. Okay? Tundi means some hot belly. That is what is called. So the one who possesses that is, it is Tundam means Tundi. Okay, that pot belly, protruded belly is what is called Tunda. Now Tundila means the one who possesses that. So there is a certain suffix called ilach. Ilach pratyaya. There is a sutra itself, because there are some people who are keen to learn Vyakarana here. So Tundadibhyaha ilacha. Okay, this is the sutra. Tundadibhyaha ilacha. Cha means and. So the words are formed with a certain noun and then followed by a suffix. Okay. So this tunda is a noun followed by this suffix. This suffix indicates the one who possesses. You understand? So tundila is one form. In fact, ilachicha, when he says, the other pratyas can be there. See? So you can say tundavat, tundavan, you can also say tundavan. In fact, tundi also can be used. One who possesses protruded belly is tundi. Tundavan, you can say. Tundila, you can say. Right? So there are various forms in which, in fact, the further there is a description there. It is not necessarily that only for belly you need to use this. You can use it for other parts of the body also. So that is actually stated in Vyakarana itself. See, Swangat vivruddhaucha. Swangat vivruddhaucha. Suppose somebody, my grandmother used to have the teeth sort of, some people have this. Nowadays they put all this ring etc. Naturally some people have this growth outside. Okay. So then one can call him as Dantila. Okay. So Danti of course means elephant generally because it has a protruded teeth. Okay. So Danti can mean elephant. You can even describe a person who has this protruded teeth as Dantila, Danti, Dantavan, all that you can use. Okay. In fact, I remember nowadays people don't wear. So in certain places in Tamil Nadu, they are supposed to wear very heavy earrings. You have seen? It will be very heavy. Not only here, I found in one flight, I was traveling somewhere, I think, in the US only. One lady in Africa was wearing this much, it was just hanging almost 2 inches down. Okay, so you can call them as Karnila. See, Karna, see, a protruded ear. See. So in fact, I requested her, she was wearing so much of ornaments. I don't know how, that would have been almost 20 kgs. I'm not joking, this neck, this, that, various things. I got permission from her that shall I take a photograph? She said okay. And she was very heavy also, heavy built also. Anyway, so this Karnila, Dantila, Thundila, so all that we can say. Okay. Swangadibhyaha Vriddhau. You understand? So Vriddhi means something which is protruding. Vivruddhaucha. Okay, so this is Tundila. Now this is Tundila. Tundilango pari Vyalaharam is the description. Vyala means serpent. Vyala means serpent. Vyalahara means the serpent itself is like a garland. Garland means something that goes around the neck, right? So this goes around the belly. A garland around the belly. Okay. So what is the garland around the belly? The serpent is the garland around the belly. Okay. Vyalaharam. You would have seen in many photos also. See, the serpent will be tied and then. So the serpent will be hardly sufficient for him to tie. So Tundila, that is how they will depict. It's not like the 3-4 rolls. See, around the neck they will show Parameshwara, some many rolls will be there. But Vinayaka's Tundi is so big. Okay? So only one roll of the serpent will be there and they will show like this, depict. So this is an interesting description. Okay? Lasatundilango, the one who is glowing with the elephant tied, serpent tied over the belly. Okay? Tundilango pari, as a mala. Okay? Lasatundilango parivyalaharam. In fact, so I asked somebody, okay, so in this Karnataka, so there is a fellow, so they have some interesting stories. So So I asked that fellow, do you have any episode associated with that? So he said that in childhood I have heard one story. So why is this, he is wearing this? So this Vinayaka is anyway so very interested in eating. Okay, that is how this Tundi has come. Now this, she was eating too much apparently. This is a interesting story he is telling. So this childhood they narrate stories. This Vinayaka was eating too much on a Chaturthi. Chaturthi day, a lot of people offer. So eating. So this Tundi was growing. So somebody said, no, you have to tie something, otherwise it will burst. Okay. So, so they said, so he tied the serpent and then did this. So then there was Chandra there noticing this. So that is how he said the story he has heard. Chandra was laughing at Vinayaka. Okay. Then Vinayaka became angry and then like Shapa, Shravana's father, he gave Shapa. Okay, today is Chaturthi. So you have insulted me. So nobody is supposed to see you on Chaturthi. Okay, if they see, so this is Tritiya, they will try to see. Chaturthi, one is not supposed to see. Okay, this is another tradition that we have. This Chandrasya. That is why we have this phrase, no? In fact, this 82nd birthday. So this is when they are supposed to do this Shatyabda Purti they do. Then they do something called Shatabhishekam. So this will be after 81 years, so we will do this. That is actually called Chandra Sahasra Darshi. The person who has crossed that age, he is called as Chandra Sahasra Darshi. Chandra Sahasra Darshi means so one who has seen 1,000 faces of the moon. Okay. In a year, you can see 12 times. Sometimes you can see 13 times. So this is something, if you count that, you will see around that time you would have been able to see if you were regularly seeing this. Chandra Sahasra Darshi, that is what they say. Anyway, so here this Chandra, you are supposed to see on Tritiya. You are not supposed to see on Chaturthi. So that is the episode associated with that. Lasatum dilango parivyalaharam Ganadhishamishana sunum tamide. Okay, read the verse. Ranakshudra ghanta ninadabhiramam Lasat chalatandavo danda padmatalam Chalatandavo danda padmatalam Lasatundilango parivyalaharam Ganadhishamishana sunum tamide. In fact, I was even thinking, like Aditala, Triputatala, etc. Is there something called Padmatala? I asked various people, but none of them said that we haven't heard of anything called Padmatala. So even if we take, so I think this Padmatalam will be better. Okay. Now we move on to the next verse. Dhvanidhvam saveenalayolasi vaktram Dhvanidhvam saveenalayolasi vaktram Dhvanidhvam saveenalayolasi vaktram Spurachundadandollasadbijapuram 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 Galaddarpa saugandhyalolalimalam Galaddarpa saugandhyalolalimalam Galaddarpa saugandhyalolalimalam Ganadhishamishana sunum tamide Ganadhishamishana sunum tamide Ganadhishamishana sunum tamide. Ide, as I told you, I praise. Okay, that is what generally Ide means. Aham Ide. There are some stotras which will always end with Ide, Ide. This is one of them. Ishana Sunam Ide. Kidrisham Ishana Sunam. Okay, again we find some three interesting descriptions here in the first three quarters of the second verse. Dhvanidhvamsa veena layollasi vaktram. Vaktram means face. Okay. Vaktram means mukham. Vaktram, mukha is used to refer to both mouth as well as face. Okay. So here we should take it as face. Ullasi vaktram means something which is glowing with happiness. Okay. So a face which is glowing with happiness. Ullasi vaktram. So now, kena ullasi is the question. So there, veena layollasi. Veenayaha layaha, veena layaha. See the melody that is brought out by veena. Melody brought out by the veena. So veena layollasi vaktram. So is the description that we find. See, in the first verse we saw Shudra Ghanta Ninadabhiramo. See, I was actually thinking, see, since nowadays we have this custom, no? So he is a Keralite. So in Kerala, you find a lot of elephants. So all the elephant they try to put some bell. Okay, that could be for practical reasons also. Anyway, they put some bell around the. So anyway, Ganesha is having a Gajavaktra, right? So you can put a bell. You can think of that. But the other could be more meaningful is, see, so every Ganesha puja, at least at the beginning, you have to just do tung 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 tung, right? So that is how this Vaktram. So the one who is pleased with the ringing of the bell. That is the first description. Here the second is, so at the end of the puja, see, Chatram samarpayami, Chamram samarpayami, Sangeetam. So then you do this Veena Vada. So tenapi ullasi vaktram. Understand? So here Dhvanidhvamsa Veenalaya. Dhvanidhvamsa. So what does Dhvamsa mean? Dhvamsa mean? Destruction. Right? That is what we have. Dhvamsa bhava. You know, Praga bhava, Pradhvamsa bhava. See, those who have studied a little bit of Nyaya, there are four kinds of abhavas. Praga bhava, Pradhvamsa bhava, Atyanta bhava, Anyonya bhava. Dhvamsa means normally description of something which was destroyed. Okay? Gramo dhvastaha. Suppose you say, suppose some this comes and then strikes. Okay? So this Israel sends something, tadak. So dhvastaha means destruct. But here, what is this destruction has to do? So dhvanidhvamsa. See, dhvamsa, in fact, so there is a dhvamsu dhatu. This dhvamsu dhatu has two meanings. Okay. One is something which is falling off, destructed. The other is gatau. Dhvamsa gatau. Okay. Gati means motion. So here it is a beautiful description of the phenomenon itself by Bhagavatpada. See, initially this dhvani is generated by plucking that, right? So you have wires, you pluck that. So this dhvani generated, see, dhvani gata, see, the movement of the dhvani by plucking this, so enters into the veena, the entire instrument, and then it comes out as a beautiful melody. You understand? So dhvanidhvamsa veena layollasi vaktram. Okay? So without that you just pluck some wire, nothing will happen. You understand? So this dhvani is the noise generated, the sound generated by plucking the string passes through the instrument and comes out as a melody, and the one who is pleased with that melody, one whose face is, that is how he is trying to describe. Dhvanidhvamsa veena layollasi vaktram. Then Spurachunda Dandollasadbijapuram. So this also Layena Ullasi. So you and I pluck, nothing will come. So there has to be some laya generated. Okay. Dvamsa veena layollasi vaktram Spurachunda Dandollasadbijapuram. So many of you would have also seen the portrait of Ganapati with a fruit. Okay. The fruit here is described as Bijapura. See, Bijapura. So Bijapura phala is something which is filled with seeds. See, normally it is used to refer to ova. Okay. Kapitha is also Bijapura. Even Dadima phala is also Bijapura. Anyway, one of these Bijapura phala is held by Ganesha in his trunk. So how does it come out? See, Spurachunda Dandollasat. Ullasat. See, Ullasat means something which is glowing with that. Its charm is enhanced. Charm of the trunk is enhanced by holding this Bijapura phala, the one who holds. Then there are further descriptions. Sphurat. So Sphurat means something which is blinking. So the Sphurat, Spurallochana means eyes are blinking. So here we should understand this as the oscillating trunk. See, Spurachunda. Shunda means the trunk. Okay. Spurachunda Dandollasad Bijapuram. Okay. The trunk which is holding this Bijapura phala, okay, it is very attractive to see. So that is another, the one who has this. Then we have the third one, Galadarpa Saugandhya Lolalimalam. Again we have a mala. The first verse, the third was Vyalamala. So here he says Alimala. So this Ali you should not misunderstand. So Ali is not that Ali. So here it is Ali. So Alihi. So we have this Ali used in two senses. Alihi, Alihi, both are used. But here it is basically honeybee. Ali. Okay. So Alimala means the honeybees form the shape of a garland, which means they just keep moving around and around. Where are they moving around? Saugandhya Lola. Okay. So Saugandhya Lola means Lola is someone which is attracted. Who is attracted here? The swarms of honey. Honeybees are attracted. Honeybees are attracted and they form a mala. Understand? So Lola Alimala. So Kena Lola. See, sometimes we use this as Stri Lola. There are fellows who just keep moving around. Okay, then we call them Stri Lola. So here this is Saugandhya Lola. Means honeybees always are wanting to go towards the fragrance. So that is Saugandhyam. Okay. Saugandhya Lola Limalam. The Saugandhya, where does it come from? Darpa. Understand? So Darpa, see, Darpa normally is used in a negative connotation. See, Dambho Darpo Bhimanascha. These are qualities to be left out. Okay, vices, in fact. Dambha, Darpa, Abhimana, etc. Okay, it is listed in Bhagavad Gita. So it is not that Darpa. Okay. So that Darpa, of course, generates not Saugandhya. You will not be attracted toward that fellow. So that Darpa will only drive away people. So here this Darpa basically means this elephants, they leave out some fluid. Okay, Sometimes people call as temple juice. Sometimes people use the word rat also. So this temple juice, in fact, it will just flow from the in between the ear and the eyes. So they will start losing some fluid. They will keep flowing down. That has a fragrance. That is also referred to by the word darpa. And galat means something which is flowing. So galadarpa, galadarpa saugandhya lolalimalam. See, the temple juice that is flowing out of the elephant generates a fragrance, and the honeybees attracted by the fragrance create a certain movement such that it looks like a mala. The one who possesses such a mala. That is the description. Understand? Galadarpa saugandhya lolalimalam Ganadhishamishana sunum tamide. These are beautiful descriptions, very poetic. Okay. Read. Dhvanidhvamsaveena-layollasivatram Spuracchundadandollasadbijapuram Galadarpa saugandhya lolalimalam Ganadhishamishana sunum tamide. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Om Sarve Pisakina Santu, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Makaschid Dukha Bhavet.